Today, in a New York federal courtroom, Sean Diddy Combs told the judge he was, quote, a little nervous. The rap mogul's criminal trial began this morning. Sex trafficking, racketeering, and more. The two sides are now in the process of selecting a jury of 12 plus alternates. Most of the prospective jurors acknowledge they're aware of Combs' case and also the allegations that span some 20 years.
That they offered Combs a plea deal. Combs acknowledged he has no interest in taking that. They're going to move forward with the trial. They also talked about the jury selection process, which one legal expert I spoke to said is probably the most important thing that you want to pay close attention to before the actual trial starts. And thirdly, we learned that Combs will be adding 2 new attorneys to his defense team.
Things are heating up fast in Diddy's courtroom drama, and we're only on day 3 of jury selection. Tension is thick in the air from the prosecution side to Diddy's slick team of legal sharks. But here's the real shocker. The judge just dropped a major bombshell by bringing in none other than Ben Chew. Yeah, that Ben Chew, the same legal beast who helped Johnny Depp crush it in court against Amber Heard.
Talented actors in Hollywood. A respected artist whose name was associated with success at the box office. Today, his name is associated with...
This move changes everything. Over the first 2 days, they pulled in a whopping 167 potential jurors to try and lock in the perfect mix. But get this, 49 were instantly kicked out of the running. The rest? They got hit with a wave of rapid-fire questions. Nearly 100 yes or no interrogations designed to weed out the weak from the worthy. The questions mostly focused on where these folks get their news and how they really feel about Diddy. Some didn't hold back, straight up saying they're not fans. Others admitted they might struggle to stay neutral if things get messy. By day 3, they trimmed the crowd down to 35 possible jurors. And this group is all over the map. We're talking people from every walk of life. Some work in design, some in social work, others in medicine, or even on the factory floor. Their ages stretch from mid-30s all the way up to their 80s. And their news sources? Everything from YouTube and TikTok to old-school newspapers and blogs. That mix makes things super risky, because these folks are constantly exposed to celebrity drama online. That means opinions can shift fast, especially with high-profile figures already chiming in. Just look at Dr. Umar, for example.
He is not being charged with crimes against Cassie. He's being charged with crimes against others. Cassie was paid and dismissed. Why is she being brought back into court after taking that man's money and testifying against him? That right there is clearly an excessive and abusive use of...
Now the judge is working on locking in the final crew, 12 jurors and 6 alternates from that tight pool of possibles. But don't get it twisted. This case is huge. Diddy's staring down 5 major federal charges, and it's not light stuff. Prosecutors are saying he was behind a shady operation, and guess what? His ex, Cassie Ventura, might take the stand and spill everything. If this goes south for him, he could be looking at life behind bars. That's why the courtroom just got even more serious. To help guide the process, the judge pulled in a heavyweight, Ben Chew, one of the lawyers who helped Johnny Depp beat that explosive defamation case against Amber Heard. Ben broke it down, explaining how jury selection gets extra tricky when you're dealing with a celebrity at the center of a scandal.
Court, we have an issue we would like to bring to your attention. Juror number 5 was looking at, it's like, how did they find that out? Is that what happens?
Well, it is in a high-stakes case like this. I mean, as you know, not all clients have the resources to hire, jury consultants and to hire investigators. But in this case, you have a defendant who could theoretically be sentenced to life in prison, who has the means. So I'm sure, or I would think, that his counsel have a team of investigators following the jurors around to the extent they can and looking for any electronic footprint.
Ben Chew spilled some truth. Usually folks want to be on a celebrity jury. It's flashy, exciting, and some even see it as their moment to be part of something big. But this time, it's a whole different vibe. Hardly anyone's volunteering to sit on this jury, and that's raising eyebrows. Why the hesitation? Ben explained. It plain and simple. This ain't no defamation drama like Johnny Depp's case. This is a criminal trial, and the stakes are way higher. The stuff involved is heavy, dark, and could get real disturbing once the evidence starts rolling in. So now a lot of potential jurors are backing off, not wanting to deal with what's coming. And word is Diddy's feeling the pressure too. He's reportedly getting nervous about who's going to end up deciding his fate.
Day 2 of jury selection in a trafficking and racketeering case. We're getting a look this morning at some of the questions jurors are being asked. Chief Investigative Correspondent Aaron Katursky is right there at the courthouse for us. Aaron, good morning.
Good morning, Whit. No juror has been seated here so far, and jury selection has made Sean Combs a little bit nervous. This morning, day 2 of jury selection in the racketeering and sex trafficking trial of Sean Combs, seen in court with graying hair. Federal prosecutors are trying to prove Combs used his power, wealth, and fame to force women into drug-fueled orgies he called freak-offs and then threaten them into silence.
The jury questionnaire warning potential jurors there may be evidence of sexually explicit videos, photographs, and language. Many prospective jurors said they had heard of the case and this potentially damning evidence. Video first obtained by CNN showing Combs knocking then-girlfriend Cassie Ventura to the floor of a Los Angeles hotel in 2016 and kicking and dragging her.
Ben also gave some insight into what kind of jurors Diddy's team might be crossing their fingers for. According to him, they're probably hoping for younger people, the kind who are open-minded and not easily rattled by wild details. The defense needs folks who won't flinch at sensitive topics or let emotions take over. And here's the part that's got people talking. Ben said they might lean toward having more men on the jury. Not because women can't be fair, he made that clear, but because some of the evidence might hit differently for women, especially with the nature of the claims. The concern is that certain details could feel too personal or emotional, making it harder to stay fully neutral. So now everyone's watching closely to see how this final jury shapes up and who Diddy's fate ends up in the hands of.
What are we talking about? Because you've been hearing a lot of names, presumably, in the process of all these calls coming in, and you're a pretty smart lawyer, so you can probably work out the wheat from the chaff in terms of legitimate, plausible claims here in terms of victims. I mean, are we talking about names as big as Diddy, potentially?
I expect so. I expect so. Obviously those are the names that people are interested in, but I've tried to make sure people focus also on corporate entities, to include banks and hotels and perhaps even pharmaceutical entities that were maybe not directly involved, but were certainly benefiting and profiting from this kind of activity.
And here's where the real drama kicks in. Word on the street is Diddy was not happy when the judge brought in Johnny Depp's high-profile lawyer to speak on jury selection. Sources say he totally lost it behind closed doors. His legal team was caught off guard. They weren't expecting Ben Chew to show up and break things down like that. And now Diddy's feeling like this unexpected move could seriously shift the entire vibe of the trial. He's worried that having a legal powerhouse like Ben talk shop with, the court might sway how the jury gets picked. And in a case this explosive, who lands on that jury could flip everything on its head.
What do you want on this jury?
I think you want somebody who wants to serve, someone eager to serve, because that suggests that person might be inclined toward a celebrity like Diddy. I would also, in this case, I would want men, not because men support abuse, but I could see this being very difficult for women jurors. I would want younger jurors as well. I don't know that older jurors would be good for him.
Do you care where they get their news? Do you care if they go on social media?
I wouldn't care so much about social media. Certainly watching you on Law and Crime would be a real problem. But no, I wouldn't care too much. I mean, in fact, if they were reading the celebrity media, TMZ, Rolling Stone, that might be an encouraging thing for Diddy's counsel.
Starting Friday, the real game begins. Both sides get to use their peremptory challenges. That means they can boot a juror without having to explain why, unless the judge suspects it's based on race or gender. If that happens, the judge can shut it down fast. But things are already getting messy. One potential juror got the axe just for saying they worked at HBO. Yeah, the same HBO that just dropped a documentary about Diddy. That connection was enough to raise red flags. Then there was another twist. Someone else failed. To mention they worked at the Legal Aid Society, which helps defend people in criminal cases, but they still made the cut. The judge said their responses checked out, so they're staying in the mix. Ben Chu is watching all of this closely and believes this phase is make or break for Diddy's defense team.
And I suspect that Diddy has a very good jury consultant, probably more than one, who is profiling the type of juror who would be most sympathetic to him. And I think it's wise for attorneys, even experienced attorneys, to defer for the most part to those jury consultants. Now, ultimately, it's the client's choice, and the client should be participating in the process, especially where it's here, his liberty is at stake.
And was that something that you had in your case where your client wanted to get involved in the jury selection process? Because it's been reported that Diddy has been almost like nodding to his attorneys or maybe even shaking his head regarding certain prospective jurors. Is that common? Is that what you saw?
I think that is common, and it's natural that you would want to have some role in in choosing the people who decide your fate. And it also gives the client, I think, some measure or some feeling of control in a situation where any defendant would have to feel a profound lack of control.
Last year, CNN dropped a bomb. They aired full security footage from a hotel dating all the way back to 2016. The video showed Diddy getting physical with his ex-girlfriend, singer Cassie Ventura. It shocked everyone. After it aired, Diddy came forward with an apology, but the damage was already done. Because of how intense and high-profile this case is, the court made a big move. The jury will stay completely anonymous. No names will be released, all to protect them from threats, harassment, or public pressure. Prosecutors are saying that video is just a small glimpse into a much darker pattern. They claim Diddy's been using fear, violence, and control over women for more than 2 decades. And what's even more disturbing, they say he forced women into wild, drug-fueled events he called freak-offs.
So I don't know, bro. I'm talking about celebrities. I'm talking about big-time celebrities. You dig? I was just young city. I was just Chopper. You heard me? But to see like the juggernauts, the big dogs, you dig? The people we grew up watching, that was kind of exciting too. It was weird, exciting, and because you can't believe that you're here. They are accepting you. But I don't really think they was accepting you. They just was having fun. They ain't give a who was there. And it was kind of like a situation towards, what you see in here don't go outside. It was kind of like that, if that makes sense. Whatever happens in here stays in here, because everybody got something to lose in here. So it was kind of like that too. So I guess that made people be okay and willingly able to do whatever they wanted to do in there. You heard me? Because they knew that at the end of the day, it wasn't going to come back out up there. That's why people were so eager and fun to do what they wanted to do in there. Just my opinion. Because everybody has something to lose.
Chopper didn't hold back. He dropped some seriously unsettling claims about Diddy that no one saw coming. We're talking stuff that hadn't even been whispered in the rumor mill before. One of the wildest details? He alleged that Diddy kept certain items for his own use, including adult toys that were, according to Chopper, shockingly large, as in 10 inches. These revelations are taking the scandal to a whole new level, with people now questioning just how deep this story really goes.
Paused. The house was so big, I just started walking around myself. I was amazed. When I'm walking, you heard me, I walk into this room. You heard me, I walk into this room and I've seen all types of, dominatrix looking shit. To be honest with you, at this time, I was green yet, so I wasn't thinking it was like Diddy's room. I thought it was more like Diddy be like bringing girls over and just doing all types of crazy shit. But knowing what I know now, that nigga's a fucking freak. Yeah, so yeah, I've been to his house in style and I've seen something. But I wasn't supposed to just be wandering around there anyway, so I'm not gonna blame that on Diddy. I'm gonna blame it on myself, you heard me? Because I ain't belong just exploring around there, you dig? So what you see is what you see if you're, not invited to walk in a place where ain't nobody asked you to walk into.
Then things got even more uncomfortable. Chopper claimed that one time, Diddy allegedly tried to make a move on an MTV cameraman. According to him, the situation got so awkward and unsettling that the guy ended up quitting the company altogether. That kind of story is raising serious eyebrows, especially since it involves someone who is just doing their job behind the scenes. It's adding yet another layer to the already wild accusations circling around.
Deuce is over there at MTV at the time, who was super cool guy. He actually had the camera walking with us, you heard me, to Brooklyn to get the cheesecake. The first Art Dialogue interview, you heard me, that I did, he DM'd me and I definitely talked to him. He was like, yeah, bruh, how you been, Chop? I'm like, I'm straight, bruh. Appreciate you hitting me. Long time. He like, yeah, bruh. I appreciate your interview. You heard me?
To keep the chaos rolling, Diddy allegedly passed out drugs like candy, including things like GHB and magic mushrooms, according to claims. The women involved were expected to go with the flow, no questions asked, no matter how wild things got. And when the party finally ended, it didn't stop there. They were reportedly given IV fluids to help them bounce back from the physical toll, like they'd just been through some kind of marathon. The whole setup sounds more like a controlled operation than just a party scene. It gets even darker. The charges go way beyond wild parties. Prosecutors claim Diddy used guns, kidnappings, and even started fires to keep control over his victims. One of the women at the center of this case, listed only as Victim 1, is widely believed to be Cassie Ventura. In one shocking incident from 2016, security footage reportedly caught Diddy in a Los Angeles hotel hallway hitting Cassie, kicking her, and even hurling a vase at her. The footage sent shockwaves through the industry. Later on, Stevie J claimed that Diddy's behavior was fueled by drugs that night, but it doesn't stop there. Another allegation from court docs says Diddy once held a woman over the edge of a balcony during a heated argument, like something straight out of a nightmare. Now Diddy's legal team is scrambling to fight back.
Involving the case against Sean Diddy Combs, what he decided in court today, and what this now means, the move coming just 4 days before his trial is set to begin. Here's Aaron Katursky.
Tonight, Sean Combs makes it official. He's rejecting the government's offer to plead guilty and spare himself the possibility of a prolonged term in prison. When asked if he turned down the offer, Combs answered, "Yes, I do, Your Honor," as he stood in a baggy beige jail uniform. Terms were not disclosed, but prosecutors did say a plea could result in a shorter sentence for Combs than if he's convicted. The decision guarantees Combs will face trial beginning just 4 days from now that will test whether one of music's most prolific figures used his power, wealth, and fame.
Leading the charge is Mark Agnifilo, a heavyweight criminal defense attorney known for taking on high-profile and controversial clients, including the NXIVM cult leader and pharma bro Martin Shkreli. Yeah, that guy. Backing him up is a stacked team. Tini Geragos, Alexandra Shapiro, and Brian Steele, who recently defended rapper Young Thug in his own headline-grabbing case. This lineup is no joke. What's raising even more questions? Diddy rejected a plea deal. That's right, he's gambling it all, which has everyone wondering, does he know something the rest of us don't? Or is he just that confident he'll beat these charges in court? So, what's Diddy's legal team actually planning to argue in court? At a pre-trial hearing, his top lawyer, Mark Agnifilo, claimed Diddy never forced anyone to do anything. According to him, Diddy just lived a wild swinger lifestyle where all the adults involved were fully aware and agreed to whatever went down. He says it was all consensual, not criminal. As for that hotel video with Cassie, the defense is brushing it off as a nasty fight in a long, toxic relationship, but not human trafficking. Agnifilo also said the way Diddy's being painted in the ORA, media is totally unfair and doesn't match who he really is. In his statement, the lawyer admitted Diddy's an imperfect person, but doubled down, saying, he is not a criminal. Now Diddy's preparing to fight for his name in court, and his team insists he's ready to tell his side of the story. So what do you think? Will Diddy beat the charges or go down in flames? Drop your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more explosive updates. Catch you on the next one.